What's up everyone, welcome to your 25th tutorial, and in this time I'm going to be talking about loops. Now what a loop is it pretty much allows you to do a certain block of code multiple times without typing it multiple times. So the first type of loop I'm going to be showing you guys what it is something called a while loop, and that's W-H-I-L-E, and the syntax for that, let me just go ahead and make a basic loop. So first thing we need is a variable, and I'm going to make a variable called b and set it equal to 1. And the next thing we need to do is throw this baby into a while loop. So the while loop, you pretty much have a test condition. And you're while, and while just means as long as b is less than or equal to, and we'll put 10 because we want it to loop 10 times. Put your colon. So the first thing, well, I'll write this loop then show you. Print that variable, and then we want to take b and add 1 to it. Now here's what's going to happen. The first time it's going to test, it's going to say, alright, 1 is less than or equal to 10, so I'm going to print out b, which is 1. And now I'm going to add 1 to b, so now b is 2. So now let's go up to the top and test again. While b is less than or equal to 10, which is true because it's 2, I'm going to run this again, and it's going to go 3, then do it 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it's going to put 10, and then it's going to stop. So this is the piece of code it does, and this is so it gets to 10. If we didn't have this, then the b would be equal to 1 the whole time, and it would just keep repeating forever. So let me show you guys what that does. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this is because we test, it starts out at 1, we define that right here, and then it tests that as 1 and does the code, and then it adds 1 to each time and does that whole loop again. So by the time it gets to 10, our test condition says as long as b is less than or equal to 10. So by the time it gets to 11, it's going to say false, so it's going to get out of that loop. So that's how you use a simple while loop to do a piece of code over and over again without having to type print b1, print 2, print 3, print 4. It's a little compact way of doing large processes. Now, aside from the while loop, another loop I want to show you guys is something called a for loop. Now, what the for loop does is pretty much loops through an object or sequence, like a list or something. And let me show you guys what the syntax for this is. So let's go ahead and make a list called grocery. Let's just name it G. I don't feel like typing that. For grocery list. And what do we want in here? Bread. Let's see. Think of something creative. Milk. It's pretty creative. Meat. And one more. Beef. I love beef. Now go ahead and press enter, and hopefully we created it. And now we have a list called GL, which is short for grocery list. Now the syntax for a for list, or for loop, excuse me, is for, then press space, then you write a name of a variable. And I'm gonna name mine food. And I'll show you guys why I did this in a second. And put in GL. The reason I did this is how this is going to work. The variable you put after for is going to be assigned to each one of these. So the first time this loops, food equals bread. The next time it loops, food equals milk. The next time it loops, food equals meat. And the last time it loops, food is going to be equal to beef. And that's how the for loop works. It just goes through the list and assigns food to each one of these items in the list. So what do we want to do for food in grocery list? Well, let's print out I want, and then let's put the name of the food so you guys can see, and I'll put a space right there because it formats easier. So as you can see, when we use the for loop, it says I want bread, I want milk, I want meat, I want beef. So the first time you put for in grocery list and for looped it, it saw food and set it equal to bread. So it printed out I want bread. And then it says, alright, this list isn't over, let's do it again. Food is now equal to milk. So I want milk. Bam. Next, food is equal to meat. I want meat, then I want beef. So those are your basics of looping. Again, the while loop and the for loop is one way of doing something multiple times, and another way of looping through a sequence. And you can actually use both these loops in the same cases. A lot of the times it's just a choice of personal preference, but you'll be seeing in the future why one of these loops are better than the other in certain conditions, and that's what we're probably going to be going over shortly. So I hope you learned the basics of a while loop and a for loop. That's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you in the next tutorial. So thanks, and I'll see you then.